Hello and welcome back, Realty Pros, to another week of Realty Talk. We are excited. We're always excited. I'm excited to always see you all, and I appreciate so much you all carving out the time to invest in yourself and to join us in the trainings. And so we're going to continue. We have our CINC platform that everyone has been kind of diving into and kind of discovering how it's going to be beneficial to you and your business. And so we're going to continue on in that training process. And again, we have with us Mrs. Porter, who is going to be leading that training. So we want to say thank you to Mrs. Porter, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Realty Pros. As Anita said, I definitely share the same sentiment. Very excited as always when we get a chance to come together with you guys. I would love to see some of your faces. I understand if you're driving, no worries. If you are not, if you're able to turn your cameras on, I would love to be able to interact with you. As Anita said, we are continuing with our CINC platform. Guys, I hope that each and every person has had a chance to go to your new website and browse around. But if you have not already, no worries. We're going to make sure that when we leave today, you've all had the opportunity to do so. So I want to hear some feedback. So with your new CINC website, with your, so whether it's your Kermon.porterhouserealtypros.com, I want to hear your feedback on, just how it looks, the user friendliness, or, anything that you have in terms of feedback or insight for us before I begin today. What do you guys think about your new website? And be bold, otherwise I will ask you as well.
Hi, this is Aurelia. I'm driving. But I think it's an excellent website. I like the way that if someone does log into that website or go to that website, that it captures their information. And by doing that, even though it's coming as a lead on the back end, my thought is to continue to push the website. Whenever we're having any type of event or anything that we're doing, my thought is just to go ahead and push the website so that I can get people, capture those people as potential leads and then following up with them. Another thing that I noticed even from the training is what they were saying is to watch how many times they actually go into the site, because it counts those times as when they're actually active in the site, and those are the people that we want to focus on. So the other part that I like about the site is that it is like a file cabinet, and you can keep track of everything on that one site. There's also things that I said I was going to push personally with my website. I haven't done it, so I'm glad that Anita's saying that this is a new time. This is the end of the quarter, because my thing was to start, communicating, especially with my spheres and people that I already have, contacts that I have in the site, so that I can let them know, hey, check out my website, just so that they can click on there and start, activating things. Even if they're just looking, those are the ones that behind the scenes that I can start focusing on. Also, one of the things that they mentioned is as you're communicating with them, you can put out little tidbits to say, hey, did you know that you can favorite some of the things? Or did you know that you can say some of these things? Did you know that I could change some of the criteria in the background? Or just continue to communicate with them about the website. So that was one of the things that I said I was going to start focusing and regrouping myself, communicating with people so that they can understand. Like you say, you may not get the leads clicked where they're given to you, but you can actually capture those leads as you're communicating with people. So that's my takeaway.
Excellent, Aurelia. You said so many wonderful things in that statement, and that is going to be a lot of what we're doing on our training today. So I feel like I need to let you go ahead and continue. Great, great, great job, Aurelia. Anybody else like to share what your experience has been with your new website so far? Let's see. Who am I going to call on?
Ms. Porter,
All right. Go ahead, Kermon.
I felt in my spirit that you were getting ready to call on me. So I said, before you did that, let me go ahead and say something. It's amazing. The deeper you dive into CINC, the more there is to like, the more there is to love, and there's more to learn. So I was in the office, I was with Mr. Porter, and I'm trying to, you know, go through everything. And listening to the training, I got more out of the training, the second time. So I know when I listen to it again, I'll get more out of the third time. And I think that's going to be the key, that we just have to keep listening to this until it becomes second nature. Um, so that's what I'm trying to make sure that I do, because there's a lot to it. I have been receiving the leads, and I've called some of them. And you get the same thing you get with every lead. We know it's all a numbers game. So for everybody, just want to encourage everybody. You're going to get ones that there's no numbers. Don't worry about it. Keep it moving. Go to the emails, do whatever. But you're going to run into people where the numbers are right, because I have. You're going to run into people that you talk to, because we have. And you just got to keep it going. Just keep pressing on it. So I have not found out all this stuff. I'm waiting for Aurelia to do it, since she's so good. She needs to teach a class. I'm waiting for all of that, but I'm learning as I go, and it's a lot to it. And I think it's an excellent lead generation system, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We are excited, Kermon. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody else want to share what your experience has been so far with your new website? One more person.
Could I share something, Jasmine?
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, Kermon and I were actually at the office. I was so proud of Kermon. He turned his computer on all by itself, and we actually got it. We actually got it.
Wait a minute. I turned my computer on by. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little further. I'm a little further than that, but that's okay. You my guy. Okay, no problem.
Little steps. And so he actually casted his computer to the main office. So that was a big step too. So Kermon is making huge strides in technology, but he actually, when we went to the dashboard, we both picked up quite a few nuggets just listening to that training again, as he said. One of the things that I was very excited about was the auto emails. And so when I'm calling back my CINC leads, when I'm calling back and speaking to people, you just find out as much information as you can. And I always remember what the gentleman said, NPR. That's the acronym. So I'm always making a note for myself. I'm always adjusting the pipeline that I contacted the person. And then I'm always putting a reminder that, when to call the person back, email or text them. And the wonderful thing is the auto emails and the auto text are really pretty much already set for you. All you have to do is go in and select which ones that you want to send. And the wonderful thing is that if you don't get a response by phone, sometimes you'll get a response by email, or you'll get a response back by the text. The other thing is that Kermon and I think I shared this last week, we were monitoring one of the AI conversations with a person, and the person was talking about how they were going through a divorce, and the AI was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," but it just got them back on track. It was like, "Okay, I'm sorry to hear that." So is that the reason why you're looking? So the AI was very intuitive and intelligent enough to even have a conversation about things that we think might be abstract. So going in and looking at those text messages, and that's one of the first things I do when I get a CINC lead, is I look at to see if Alex has made communication. Alex is our AI. If Alex has started a conversation or made communication with that person, because if that person is responding, then that's a person that I want to talk to. I want to say, "Hey, my assistant Alex reached out to you, and he started a text message conversation with you. I just wanted to pick up where you left off to kind of see what I could do to help you." I'm very. I think if you approach it and you sound mechanical, it turns people off. But I say, "Hey, I'm ready to get you rocking and rolling." That's just my demeanor. but you have to use your own personality to kind of, persuade people to continue down the path, offer them things, say, hey, what about if I can get you pre-approved? Let me send you over to my lender. What about if I can send you a comparative market analysis? It's free of charge. It wouldn't cost you anything. I'll just send it over to you so we can see what your house is worth. And, and then I always send people to my lender. That's my go-to move when you get a buyer. When you get a person that's interested in buying, let's see how much you can get pre-approved for. Well, I'm not ready till next year. Well, it might take some time. We might need to work on some things. Let's see where we are now, and then I can help you do that, and I'll do that free of charge. Those type of things are what you want to always offer to a person for your services. But it's just wonderful to have Alex to be your AI, assistant to start those conversations. And even if Alex tells you that the person is not interested, I find, and I've seen that happen, I still find that it's worth giving that person a call. And they might say, well, I'm thinking about next year, or I was just poking around. I said, well, tell me more about what you dream about when you think about where you want to live or your next move in real estate. And so then they start talking about their dreams, then it's abstract. It's not something that I'm locking them into. But they're having that conversation. They're getting to know me. I'm getting a feel for them. I can identify with things that they're saying. And then slowly but surely, I'll offer them something. I'll offer them an opportunity to speak to a lender. I'll offer them an opportunity to send a comparative market analysis. Or I'll just say, hey, well, let's just continue this conversation. Let's lock my number in. I'll give you a call back. I want to share. Can I share with you some other emails and information that we get that talks about the market? All of those kind of things are things that are already loaded into CINC. And I just think that it's exciting, it's fun, and it's fascinating just to kind of get used to having those conversations with people that come to you through the CINC platform. That's all I wanted to say.
Outstanding, Mr. Porter. Outstanding. And I second each and every last one of those things. I want to have Angela to share with us, because I had a great conversation with Angela yesterday, and her approach with one of her leads. I really want you to unmute yourself, Angela, and share it. Because as we're talking about establishing a rapport with the leads and connecting with them on some level, Angela had an approach that I said, Angela, I'm going to have to adopt that, and we'll share it with the rest of the Realty Pros too. Angela, would you unmute yourself and share with them how you connected with one of the leads that you spoke with?
Sure. So I always feel like I need to be super prepared when I talk to them. And so, I like having my, the screen in front of me, kind of just to see what items they've clicked on, so I can find ways to relate or engage. If I see what area they're looking in, if they're looking in Baltimore, then I know kind of what angle I'm going to take. But usually when I call, I usually just keep it as casual. Like if I were calling you guys, I don't say, hey girl, hey, like I do with Darlene, but, but I do so I think the guy's name, let's say his name is Paul. And I was like, hey, Paul, it's Angela. And it's just very, I think in one of the trainings, they said, don't say, is this Paul? Because then I obviously don't know the person. So I'm assuming that who I'm calling, that's who I'm asking for. So I might say, Paul, and he'll say yes. And I say, hey, it's Angela. And then I go on to have a conversation about, we don't know how they found, us and which site. And we've been instructed in the trainings to just kind of, engage with them about browsing our site. A lot of the times they may get into details about who are you again. And I try to keep it as casual and comfortable to just try to talk to them like I know them. So I think it does come up a little bit more about your mindset. I prepare myself when I make the call. I do make it fun. I don't get too discouraged because, cold calling can be discouraging, but I just, make sure that's them on the call. I say, hey, it's Angela, like I would with any of you guys. And then I say, hey, I noticed that you were on the site checking out a few properties. You can go along. What do you think about the site? They can answer that. If it's a property that I noticed, one person may select a few Baltimore properties. I noticed you're looking in Baltimore. Is that the only area you're interested in? And then just try to ask open-ended questions or something to try to get to know more about them. I don't focus more on what my ultimate goal is. I feel like I'll get there when I'm on the call, but I really listen to what they're saying, and then I ask more about what they're sharing. And if they say, oh, I was just looking, I'm not really interested, well, I go back to the Baltimore properties. Do you currently live in Baltimore? What, why you're interested in Baltimore? And then it just keeps going and going. And my call that I think, the fear of being hung up on or someone trying to get off the call quickly, it's just been very lengthy conversations if you're really just trying to gather as much information as you can and just engage with the person that you're talking to. I don't know if I answered what you were.
You did, Angela. You did an outstanding. And I want to highlight something because Angela said it. She said it twice, but she said it as if, it wasn't as big a deal as it is. So I'm just going to go back to the point that I really wanted to highlight. She said, hey, Paul, this is Angela. So many of us know that if somebody calls you like that, the first thing you're going to think is, oh, I know her, or I'm supposed to know her, or she thinks I know her, or I should remember her. So that you're going to get a different response from that person because now the onus is upon them to remember who you are. So I really like that approach that she took. It goes from being very personable to being, almost as if you're somebody that they already know. So it gives a different response. So I really like how she approached that client. And as you've heard, the thread between both hers and Mr. Porter's as well, you want to engage them in conversation, non-threatening conversation. So to connect the dots there with each person that you talk to, no matter what they say, your response is to the tune of, oh, that's great. Well, if that's the case, then we'll provide you this so that when you're ready. As an example, Mr. Porter said, well, you talk to somebody and they say, okay, well, I was just browsing for now. I want to purchase next year. Oh, well, great. Then you've reached out to me in the perfect amount of time because in your purchase process, there may need to be some things that you may need to get in order to be pre-approved for the home when you're ready. So this is the perfect time to get you over to our lender now. I will send his information to you and yours to him if that's okay, so that he can go ahead and take a look at where you are now so that next year when you're ready to actually purchase, you'll know what your purchase power is, you'll be pre-approved, and you'll be able to move forward confidently. So, and when you say that to people, it is very rare that you're going to have somebody to say, no, thank you. Oftentimes they'll say yes, even if it wasn't something that they were anticipating, they'll say yes, even if just to be polite. So like Mr. Porter said, after you've had that conversation, your next step is to absolutely send them over to your lender, because you want to make sure that you build multiple layers of reinforcement so that you've made that connection. You've hopefully had that wonderful, lengthy conversation that you hear Angela and Mr. Porter talking about. You've connected with them on some level. And guess what? Now you're going to be memorable. So when you call them back, they're going to know, oh, this is the person that I spoke with. Now it's no longer a cold call in that sense. So kudos to you, Angela. Hats off for the way that you handled that. And I just really like that approach. And I think that's something that we should try. Yes, by all means. Go ahead, Mr. Porter.
So yeah, Angela. So one of the things that I like doing, especially when we're learning new technology, I like to get very familiar with the cell phone app. So if you haven't already downloaded the CINC app and logged into it, I would highly encourage you to do so. And Angela, if you go to some of your CINC leads, the first thing I hit is notes, because a lot of time the system already has note added by system. And in note added by the system, for example, with one of mine, it says, note added by system, home pulse, property details. And it'll say, person logged in through home pulse. Or I'll give you another one example. I hit the notes on a different person. This person, it says tip. Tell the lead that you're following up with them based upon their submission from our Facebook post, not your CINC website. And it says, get first access to new DMV leads. That's what they hit. So it tells you how, in a lot of cases, that person did find you. And that's a really good conversation starter when you're going down the path to get directly to the point, to let them know that this is what you do for a living.
I love it. That was such great insight. And I just want to reiterate it because that was not the place that I went to when I first opened it. But because of the insight you just shared, Mr. Porter, I will start doing that same thing. So what Mr. Porter said, when you go into your CINC website, click on that person's name. On the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see something that says notes. Click there so that just like what both Mr. Porter and Angela are saying, when you talk to that lead, you're able to know exactly, you know, what they did in the system, and you can point to some relevant information that they'll be able to connect with. So that was so poignant. Thank you so much, Mr. Porter.
So that
What
goes
I
back
want,
to NPR, right?
Mhm.
Because I know with the gentleman who I called, I do like looking at the platform, but Shay's right. So I called on the app. So it's going to register already, you know, my action and what I did. But when I get off the phone, I go and I put my note in. You can pin your note if you wanted to stay at the top. And I set my reminder. So when I go to call this guy back, I already know when I'm going to call back, and I've already put my notes in and what my follow-up is going to be.
Excellent, outstanding. And I want to share with you guys. So we're going through all of the, you know, getting to know CINC Platform, in that I don't want to say troubleshooting, if you will, but we're piloting, if I would. We're piloting the system so that we can learn everything that we need to know in order to be able to roll it out to everybody. So every single Realty Pro has what it is that we're talking about. Once we get through this piloting phase, you guys are going to start receiving the same leads that we're talking about as well. We've got to work out the kinks and figure out what those bugs are and so forth and so on. So if you look at your system and you say, okay, well, I know they're talking about the leads that are coming over and you haven't seen them right away, that's because we're still working out the kinks and the bugs, so that when we, you know, roll that out to everybody in the same way that we're talking about, we'll be able to guide you through that process with ease. Okay. So excellent. And thank you guys for that insight. What I want to have each one of us to do, everybody that's on the call, I will easily assign you to somebody because we have an even number on here. So this is going to be perfect. But we need to know our lead gen software just like our clients will. So as to ensure that you have the same purview that any of your leads are going to have when they log onto your website, I'm going to have you guys to log on to each other's websites today. And you're going to register so that you can create an account and access the website just as if you were a buyer. And then you'll take maybe, 3 to 5 minutes or so and browse around. So click on some of the properties, request a tour for properties, request a market analysis, because I want you guys to get firsthand insight on how the system interacts with you. Because I was very impressed when I did that in my call with Angela yesterday. I said, Angela, I want to work with you, girl. Your site is wonderful. The way it followed up with me and the text message and the email. It even sent me another message today saying that the system wasn't able, I guess because I didn't put any of my property information in, it wasn't able to provide me with a market analysis, but Angela can. So that is, it's wonderful. And that's the way that the system is going to market you guys to all of your leads. Before we do that, I want to touch on something that we did last week, because this cannot be said enough. It is pertinent to everything that we're doing. The opportunities with your CINC platform are endless. Your new website, guys, this is a lead generating software for you guys that we want you to maximize. So if you were here at our training, our mastermind training last Thursday, then you know that what we did is we started sending out this new platform to all of our contacts. Why am I saying that? You heard Aurelia talk about it when she first came on and said, I want basically everybody that I know to have this. And that is absolutely the mindset, guys. It will watch the activity of all of your contacts for you, and it will let you know when somebody's actually ready to purchase a home. It'll let you know when somebody's actually ready to sell a home, because it's going to say, hey, Cheryl, buyer A logged on to your website and looked at 12 homes, or they looked at 5 homes, or, this person requested a market analysis. This person, requested information on the market to find out what the interest rates were, or whatever the case may be. This software is a tremendous tool because it takes the guesswork out of it for you. So what we need to be diligent to do is to make sure that we disseminate this information high and low into every single person that we know. And I said that in my conversation with one of your Realty Pro colleagues yesterday. I said, so for everybody that's in your phone, you need to send this out to everybody in your husband's phone. You need to send it out to everybody in your children's phone, your sister's phone, your, everybody that is within your immediate family. You want to share this with them and ask them to share it. You want to ask them to post it. Why? People love looking at homes. HGTV has been big for so many years for just that reason. People love looking at homes, even if it's for the reason that Mr. Porter mentioned earlier, just dreaming. What do you dream about when you think about yourself and your future home? So even giving people a platform and a space to dream, free from feeling like, oh, if I log on there, I have to purchase. There is no obligation. You just utilize this tool the way that it's intended to, for you to look at everything that you're dreaming about. And then when you get to that point where you see, oh, this person has looked at this same home 10 times, or this person has been on the website, on a daily basis, that is where you focus your follow-up. Just as you heard Aurelia just state so eloquently, that is the person that you want to follow up with. Those are the people that you want to follow up with and be most diligent, because as real estate professionals, we have all had the experience. And if you haven't, stick around long enough, you will, where you'll say, okay, well, I spoke with this person before and I didn't speak with them in, 3 to 4 months, and I called them back to check in with them and they just bought a home. Or they were talking to a new agent, they just closed, or they just sold, or whatever the case is. And that is an agonizing feeling as a real estate professional, because you know that our goal is to capture everybody within our sphere of influence. And this just adds another layer to your arsenal, because it puts the tool directly in the hands of everybody that already knows you, likes you, trusts you, or has some type of direct connection to you through somebody else in your sphere of influence. And it says, hey, do what you like to do anyway. Look at homes. Use this website, right? So that is the point behind what it is that we're going to do in sharing your website near and far and every single place that you think of. To add to that, for all of your social media posts, everything that you do that pertains to your name, your website should be there as well. And you want to encourage people to register for your website, because the benefit of registering is that they get 24-hour unlimited access to all of the real-time properties, real estate information, local market information. And it's not like the commercial websites, like, any of your Zillow or your Trulia, where they're simply selling that information. And one of the things that you guys got to be confident in is many of those sites, they post homes that are not available and are not for sale. Homes that have sold years ago, months ago, that are not even currently on the market. So with that being said, it's really just kind of clickbait in many of those instances. Whereas on your website, this is real-time, real estate information that is of value. And should they decide to proceed on any of them, you're right there to help them. So it's not like they've got to call you to request a showing or anything like that. On your website, the home that they desire to see, there's a button right there. Click to schedule a tour. Then Talita will receive an email and a text message. Hey, such and such buyer wants to tour this home. Reach out to them right away, right? So there are so many benefits, guys. I am excited to have us to push your website out to the masses, every single person that you know. So in order for us to get started doing that, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and log into each other's website today, and you're going to register. You're going to register as a buyer. Now, each one of us has a Porterhouse website, which is connected with your own Porterhouse website and CINC Platform. So I'm sure that each of us also has a different email address. So when you log in today, you're going to use your non-Porterhouse email address, because you're not logging into your own platform. You are registering on one of your Realty Pro colleagues' platform as a buyer. Okay. So for everybody that's on the call, let's see. We're going to have Darlene, I see your hand up. Did you have a question before we begin this step in the process?
I was going to say something when Mr. Porter and Angela were talking about the notes in CINC on the app. And I was going to also say that if you click on activity in that app, it shows everything from text messages and the conversations, not just the notes.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Outstanding. So take these points, guys, because we are all learning this new software together. And we know that we went through the training and they share this information, but how many of us know you've got to actually do it yourself before it sticks most of the time? So one of the things that Mr. Porter used to say, and I find that it is wonderful for you guys so that you have the liberty to play around in the system. You're not going to break it. Go around in there, press the buttons, go from screen to screen, move, touch this, touch that, and see what it does, because that's really how you're going to learn, and that's how you're going to become comfortable with your system. In addition to watching the training a few times, that's all fine and well, but you have got to put hands on, and you got to go through it and be comfortable and playing around so that you can actually master it. Okay? Jean, I see that you have your hand up. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I wanted to say, believe it or not, I'm not the techie one, but I got in there and I started playing with it, and I put one of my other email addresses in there, and it started coming to my phone, my business phone. And I was like, what in the world? Who is this? And I realized when I dialed it, it had the number that's assigned to it. So that's what the number was. I had to get used to that. But also, going in and adding people. I added a person that's a potential listing for me, that's from Baltimore. But the things you can click on to get in to do, the notes you can keep, everything that everybody else has said, I just like, wow, this is interesting. So yes, I added myself, and I received the information for myself from Alex, as well as putting in an actual potential client.
Outstanding, Gina. That is what we're going to have everybody to do today. Before we do, I just want to reiterate something that is such a very powerful component of this platform, the AI. And you heard Mr. Porter talk about it. You heard Gina reference it just now. But what that does is it sets you apart, because now you automatically have an assistant named Alex. And you know that through the platform as well, every person has been given a cell phone number. So you have a dial number. Save it in your phone as CINC or Alex, or AI Alex, or however you choose to save it. But at least you'll know that when you're receiving those messages, you already know exactly who it's coming from and what it is. Why am I saying that? Because